Hi, I'm Colin and welcome to How to Paint Watercolors. So if you're ready, we'll get started and we'll paint this one. Hello, welcome back everyone to Painting Watercolors with me, Colin. I hope you enjoy this one. This is a picture of a PACKHORSE bridge over BECK, and I've just re-stretched my paper and I'm just keeping some of the areas wet. In this picture there's plenty of hills and stuff in the background, but I just don't want to paint them. But I'll give you a quick rundown of the colours what we're going to be using today. Naples yellow, French ultramarine, cobalt blue, a little touch of cadmium yellow, burnt umber, alizarin crimson or permanent crimson, and some raw sienna. I'm not reproducing the photograph. What I'm actually producing is the painting from a photograph, which allows you to change what you don't want. You don't have to reproduce the photograph, and you shouldn't get caught up in that. So that's a bit of Naples yellow just for a little bit of light maybe in here, and at the same time I'm going to take some cobalt blue and some burnt umber, make a grey, make sure we have enough. So I'm going to make the picture a bit misty where the trees are. You can bring this into the Naples yellow and the raw sienna, it doesn't matter. Remember, this will dry a lot lighter. The type of painting that's done like this, where most of the paper is covered, is called Old English. I'll take some French ultramarine into that because I want a darker grey. That's just French ultramarine and burnt umber. So of course this will be too wet at this moment in time to put misty trees in the background. They will just run everywhere, and I don't want that. So along the top there. I might even add some crimson into that. Just along the path here. Just put a little there. Just going to re-wet this bridge here a little bit, because I think, well, it's a nice colour. I think we'll drop some of this in as well. Just in patches. Take some of the raw sienna and drop that in as well. You can just drop a little bit of crimson in. Taking some of the darker grey. Just leaving some little white flecks on the stone bridge. Not many, but they are there. I might even bring some onto this on the inside wall while we're here. Add a little bit of cobalt blue in for a little bit of the lighter grey. Drop a little bit of crimson in, just for a bit of fun. And then I'll take some of the cadmium yellow. I'm just going to drop it in there. Just drop this in here. I don't mind all this coming together. Take some of that colour and just drop this in here. Back into that very sort of paley light green. More raw sienna into that. I'm just adding colours. Let's remove a little off the edge round there. And then I'm going to leave this to dry off a little bit, and when it's a little bit less damp and wet, we'll put the misty trees in the back. I've given that about 15 minutes. You can see it's starting to turn velvet, so we'll give this a try. And I'm just going to put some French ultramarine with this burnt umber here. This is quite thick, this burnt umber. Let's see what happens. I'm just spreading the roots So on just little bits, and adding a few bits and pieces onto it, branches we can bring out. It's a reasonably thick one here. Maybe this is a double tree. This works really well, providing there's not excess water on the brush. You must remember that. Excess water will just add to the spread and just keep it going until there's nothing really left. And then I'm going to leave all that to dry. Now that that's dry, we can move it forward a little bit, so I'm going to drag a little bit more blue into this burnt umber, French ultramarine, and also I just want to drop in a little bit of cadmium yellow, making this a very, very dark green. If you're enjoying these videos, please click the like button and subscribe. And we'll just paint this in as we move forward to get, just making these basically darker. See how grey-green that colour is? I'm just getting it to stand out from the background. And I just want to take some cadmium yellow and just drop this in, just creating a little bit of a green on this outside edge. Maybe it's moss. We'll just put in the tree trunks in for this. Once again, I'm going to take some of the yellow. I have squeezed the excess moisture off the brush before dipping into that colour. French ultramarine and burnt umber, just some dark bits in it. Breaking the straight edge up on the tree just to give it a little bit of life. Take some yellow again and drop this in on the left hand side of the tree. Just the light's sort of coming straight through the middle. Take a brush and just soften the edge of this tree in to the ground. You see how that attaches it to the ground without actually really doing anything. I'm going to take the rigger brush, a very fine detail brush, and we'll just pull some of these bottom branches out. Don't want to go too wild with this. I want to start to put the branches in, and the main branch, French ultramarine and burnt umber. I might find it easier if you turn the board around to start putting the branches in. I'll do this one tree so it gives you the idea of what I'm looking for. This, and then you can fill the rest in how you want when I do the other trees, and you can decide how many branches that you want to put on these. Crisscross the branches over. Give your branches a slight wiggle And I'll do the same to these other trees here, and then we'll rejoin you. Hopefully your trees will look something like that. I may put a few more branches on later. I'll see how I feel. I've just put a flat wash of French ultramarine and burnt umber onto the underside of the bridge. I'm going to add some shading to this on the underside, make it darker on one side than the other, just so it doesn't end up as one flat wash. And I think I'll take some of that same colour, and what I can do along here is just start to put in some of the stonework on this bridge, just with a detail brush. Just got a little water, I'm just going to soften some of this in, see how that changes it slightly, leaving soft and hard edges on the stonework. Trying not to go too much detail. Then all this has to dry. When you have all your trees finished, hopefully they look something like this. I've just removed the masking fluid, and I'm just going to put some water on the white parts, just to help with the flow of paint. I've also added a few bushes and strokes in with the French ultramarine and burnt umber, just to add some dark grasses. I want to take some crimson and add it to that. I just want to drop this in very lightly. I don't want much colour on the tops of these. Move some colour into that sort of dark purpley grey and add a little bit more darkness to it. And I want to wet these big paving slabs. Colour this stonework that's in there, and I want to drop it on here. Just to show a little bit of grass, so I'm going to bring some French ultramarine, cadmium yellow. Bring this into the stonework, bit of murkiness into the bridge. Darker green. Dropping one or two bits of colour in. Once that was dry, all I did was just put the crack lines in, or the stone lines where the masonry work is. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of crimson into this colour here. And I want to lay a little bit of this on here. While it's still wet, I'm going to take a palette knife and just scrape in some pebbles. Once you have them in, I just want to take some water on a brush, and then I'm just going to soften the edges together. Just adds a little bit more interest. I'm also going to take the same colour, but really weak. A little bit of texture on these flat stones. Like I said before, these stones aren't actually there. It was just a big grassy bank. And I'm just using almost a dry brush with this, just allowing the paint to run out on the brush. French ultramarine and burnt umber. I just want to pick out some edges, and that just gives a little edge to the shadow area and allows almost like a three-dimensional effect for your stonework. just helping to separate them. Taking some of the same colour and just pick out a shadow side under some of these pebbles just to give them a little bit more dimension. See how it makes them stand out. That's all nice and dry. I've just re-wet the river area a little bit, and I'm taking some of the cobalt blue and some of the burnt umber, and I'll make a sort of a bluey grey. Make sure I've got enough of this. Maybe I'll just drop in just a little touch of the Naples yellow here and a little touch of the raw sienna. I'll take some French ultramarine and drop that in there with some burnt umber to darken it. I'm going to let that dry a little minute. I'm going to add a little bit more French ultramarine and burnt umber, some crimson. And now I'm just going to let that dry for about 5 minutes while we put some ripples on it. Now parts of that river are dry. I'm going to take some of this colour. Take some water and just soften the bottom edge off as we go. Just shaping it a little bit. And I'm just going to let that river dry. I'm just taking some white paint, just any white paint, and I'm just picking out one or two areas for a little bit more sparkle. This usually works well on top of the dark bits. I think you get the idea. This is where you get your sight, put a mount around it and frame it. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you next time.